Hello, Pace Traders. Here we are. I'm going to give you guys the update to the analysis that I did. And actually, I think I'm going to scoot this back a little bit, let you guys see. So, where we were on yesterday, really is on, actually, it's on yesterday. It's 11:30 p.m. Monday for me, but 12:30 a.m. for the people on Eastern Standard Time. So, all right, Sunday, the market opened. So I'm on the 1 hour chart. Sunday, the market opened and we got this big bullish candle. Really, basically, price went and tested the 4 hour zone that it was in. So it had left this 4 hour zone and now it came back to retest. My bars pattern had it going up to retest that area, but then I expected or was looking to see it break above and continue higher. Price did not do that. So when it got to, so I waited to see what it did at that trend line, and then when I saw this bearish rejection, which let's see what it looks like on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, we just had an engulfing bearish candle. So I knew, okay, price is respecting this trend line. It's just respecting this 4 hour zone. So back on the 15 minutes. So I said, okay, cool. Let's see what it does in this counter trend. And it basically just is extremely bearish. Let me just hide this. It becomes extremely bearish and the overall trend remains the same. So we still stay in this downtrend. And I'm just gonna redraw this Fibonacci. So basically, after price left the 4 hour zone, the 100%, I'm sorry, it was at 162.180. Price pushed all the way down to 160.166, right? And this was all of Friday. Friday, pushed down. And then basically the move that I had to the trend line was a counter trend trade. So on that structure, well, on the overall structure, so 162.180 to 160.166. The retrace of that structure went to the 78.6%, which tested I have a 30-minute trend line there. On the structure inside that, we had this little bullish structure that moved from 160.191, pushed up to 161.082. Then it retraced 61.8% and then shot up to negative 61.8% at about 163.663. And that was that test of the trend line. Okay, so we're finished with this counter trend. So like I said, price was like really bearish, pushed straight through this trend line, and at this point I didn't catch this sell because I wasn't sure if price was just gonna test at this 4 hour. I have hiccups for some reason all of a sudden. I wasn't sure if price was just gonna retest this 4 hour trend line that I have here at 160.166. I don't know what's going on. I'm still gonna keep recording though. Hello? Okay. So all right, so I'm gonna speed this up and show you guys what happened. So I basically was like, all right, I'm gonna just wait and see what is going on in the market. So price basically pushes all the way down. It breaks and retests this trend line, by the way, really nicely, and then just pushes straight through, consolidates for a little bit, and then goes all the way down to negative 61.8. At this point, I knew that price was going to reverse. Okay, so it respected this zone that I have here. each time it came into this zone, price wicked out of it or had some kind of engulfing bullish, but it just rejected this zone. So this was a support zone that I have right there. So I was like, okay, price has to like, it has to buy. And also something that I just kind of understood is that when people say, oh, the market moves in waves, I did not, like I would hear it, but I just never understand what they meant. If price sells, it has to buy. And if it just buys, it has to sell. So that's something that's a concept that I've been thinking about, but it's like, yeah, that's what they mean by it moves in waves. If it buys, the next thing it has to do is sell. And when it sells, the next thing it has to do is buy. So it's only one of two ways. Okay. So, anyways, here now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get in the market. So this is in that 61.8% level. This is in that zone. So I get this bullish momentum back out of this zone. So I'm like, okay, I know it's gonna buy. I did not get in as soon as I didn't get in immediately as so like at this candle that broke above. Okay, where I got in. Well, I got in on the retest candle, but then at the time that I got in, I was like, "Oh, I'm really tired, and I don't want to I don't want to leave this trade because it could just because you see how it didn't really actually hit the negative 61.8. I'm like, but I want it to come broke through, retest up here, so and then push further down to negative 61.8%. So I was just like, let me just pull this trade. It was in profit for like a little bit, and I think I caught a few pips. So this would have been my exactly where I have this, which you can't see on Spotify, but exactly where I put this long position tool, that was the candle that I entered off. So after I got this break above this structure level, break and retest, this is my daily trend line. And I can't explain this because that's proprietary information. But yeah, so break and retest above my daily basically. And then I had still just like, and I had a small little pullback for the retest, and then I had the next engulfing candle. So anyways, I pulled my trade early because and I think, let me make sure. This is what I see. This is what I saw overall. Okay, so to recap, what I saw overall was price moved from 158.566 to 162.190. Okay, and at the point at which I had marked up, price was at just about at that 50% level. That's the farthest it had pulled back to, the 50% level. And I was expecting it to just continue. I was hoping for it to break above the 30-minute trend line, downtrend line that I have, and then continue up to my take profit level, which was basically at a 1 hour trend line. Did not do that, right? So, but then when the downtrend of that Fibonacci was finished, which if you watch the last video, because like there's a whole lot. So basically, this 1 hour structure back here finished, and there was divergence, and then I have a break of structure here, break above this prior high, right? So break above this prior high, I'm like, okay, bullish fib. Okay, so I have my bullish fib, like I said, 158 to 162. Then price pulled back 50%, and I was saying, okay, it's gonna break and retest and continue higher. Does not do that. Does the downtrend fib and finishes near that daily trend line and close to the 61.8, but it doesn't quite touch it actually. So that's why I was like, I know it's gonna buy, but I don't want it to sell again. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of pips of drawdown to try to get the buy because I know it's gonna buy. Anyways, I pull my trade. So basically in the overall from 158 to 162, price has now retraced to that 78.6% level, right? So my overall take profit is gonna be at negative 61.8%. But again, I still have to be mindful of this zone. So anyways, that's where I'm originally, so I'm like, oh, if I catch this entry, I want to hold it to this 4-hour zone. That's where that's where I would hold it to. But I did not follow my rules, and so I exit. Like, there was not a break of structure, so I had no reason to exit the trade, but I did because I was like, fear of risking my capital. Anyways, so it breaks above that 4-hour trend line, and then I see that, okay, it broke and retested, right? So let me zoom in, and then let me show the other long position too. So there was a break and then a retest on this wick candle. So if you can see that, you should be able to see that. Break and retest. So this wick candle, I was like, oh yeah, we in here. So I enter and I place my stop loss. And as you can see, the next candle is an engulfing bearish, which completely stops me out. And then the next candle is a bullish candle, right? And then price just completely goes. Basically, it was just a second retest. Price just completely goes in my direction where I had it for that one. So my further entry, the lower entry, I was gonna hold for longer. And then which I don't even know if that's the way that I'm gonna do it moving forward. I'll probably make sure that the lower entry, I have a lower stop loss, and then the next entry would be a stop loss above that one, or an equal stop loss. But yeah. So anyways, that's just what had happened in the trade. So for this one, I think my original take profit was in this zone, and then once it had gotten into breaking and retesting above my 4-hour trend line, I was going to take price from, what is this, 160, 102 to 161.068. But then price stops me out and I don't re-enter because I'm like, I don't want to enter 3 trades in a matter of hours. I think that's just too much. So I didn't re-enter. So right now, basically price does eventually now break above that trend line that I was looking at before. It breaks above it and goes straight into my 4-hour zone. Lovely, right? It goes into the 4-hour zone. And that is how it played out. So technically, the full amount of my bars pattern hasn't like completely played out. And I will probably just keep drawing new bars patterns. I probably won't just like try to stick to this. The first part of it played out, but the second part, I still believe it's gonna buy. I'm just waiting to see what it really does with my trend line here. So let me go ahead and hide this, and I'm gonna hide this. Okay, and so my new fib inside this fib is gonna be from here to here, basically. And if you get a look at what current price is, you can see that, like I said, after it buys, it has to sell. Okay, it's just a matter of figuring out, for either direction, it's a matter of figuring out for how long. Okay, that's it. How long is it gonna do the opposite of what it just did? And so price came back and retested this trend line. And one of the things I'm looking at here, because I'm like, I have basically 2 ideas for trend lines. I have this further one up here, as you can see, and then I also have it, could be this, which would be like, I would want to see price retrace deeper, which I'm concerned, and I think that it's a possibility simply because of the price action in here. There's resistance right here, support, support, resistance, support, resistance. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of price action here, and I'm like, I feel like price could come back to this level. So on a different chart, because I'm, like I said, playing around with them. So for this one, I'll just leave it here and we'll see. Right now, it's just price is consolidating, so I don't really know, way to do per se. But on the next chart, I have it down here and I actually have a different zone. I have the zone that I just outlined. So yeah, I have my alerts set because either way, it depends on what it does when it gets to either of these trend lines. It's at this trend line now and it's just sitting. I just want to see because it just came off this 4 hour zone. So I'm like, I want to see, and I need to see a real higher low point on this so that I can also draw a trend line for this. Um let me see what this looks like. It's not invalid, but it's just the market is so slow right now, and I honestly see it pushing down somewhere. I just do. Um, but we shall see. So that's how the trades played out. I got stopped out. I exited early from my initial analysis, and then I got stopped out. Yeah, so it goes. So it goes. Yeah, but that's just a lesson in like one because I had seen this happening here, and it's like you know, this one would have been a really early entry, and the only reason why my bias is bullish is because this is now a higher low off this divergence and the end of this down structure on 1 hour. And then we had a break of structure here. So I have a break of structure off the divergence and end of a 1 hour structure. And then I now have this higher low, respecting a support level that's previously been tested and keeps, being support. So that was a high probability trade. And I was correct. And I did re-enter and I got stopped out. So what am I supposed to do about that? Nothing. It is what it is. Um, yeah, it is what it is. There is more trades to come. So we'll just see. Like I said, I anticipate that it will come back to this zone. Um, but we shall see. I wonder if it's gonna like just retest here again. There is this really like extremely tiny fib in here that's like so small. I don't even use that, but you have this and it could because it's forming support here also. And it is, what I'm saying, I do see some bullish stuff, but I don't want to be caught up. We have this rejection off the 4 hour and we'll just see because it's not so far off for it to just come here and then you see me? So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. I'm excited about the rest of this trading week. I have more trade ideas for this week, but actually I don't really have any more trade ideas for this week yet. Meaning I want to see what price does. I need to see what it's doing. But that's how this played out. And I can more so say for sure you'll see me back next week. Then I can say, oh yeah, I got see me back later this week. So yeah. Okay, bye. All right.